Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host Emily Campagno. Welcome back. We missed you. And Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Fox News Sunday anchor and chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream, and Fox News contributor and former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. We begin with the biggest moments from last night's first Republican debate in Milwaukee. For the first time, 8 of the GOP's top presidential hopefuls took to the debate stage to lay out their vision for America. It was really compelling. We heard the candidates discuss their plans to tackle some of America's most pressing problems, and it didn't take long for the sparks to fly.
We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline.
What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family.
One thing that I think this country could use is somebody in the White House that understands small town values, because that's our road back to get this country on track again.
If you're able-bodied in America, you work. If you take out a loan, you pay it back. If you commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men.
If you have a broken car, you don't turn over the keys to the people who broke it again. You hand it over to a new generation to actually fix the problem.
Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie.
There you have it.
Your watch,
so
you
the
will
reality
make America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what?
It shows.
The last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
This is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Harris, I gotta say, one of my top takeaways was the amount of talent, the breadth of experience that we have on that stage. It stood in a stark contrast to the sitting president, Joe Biden. But I was so fascinated by your interview with Senator Tim Scott, because you watched the debate, and I had some people say I would have loved to hear more from him. But there was kind of this odd dynamic where if you didn't get in the phrase, you got less time because there were a lot of phrases, but you might have come off looking more presidential, more put together, not squabbling in the way we saw some candidates do.
Well, and critics today and analysts are saying that definitely was the case for Tim Scott, a DeSantis, that sort of, just can you lead without shouting and showing disrespect, so on and so forth. That was their take on it. But I'm going to give you some facts. So one analysis has Pence at 12 minutes, 26 seconds. And you think, wow, he must have talked a lot. He ended up shouting a lot and interrupting a lot to the point where the moderators had to shut him down. So that's one way you could do it, I suppose. Vivek Ramaswamy, 11 minutes, 38 seconds, was in second place. And to your point, Tim Scott was in the bottom 3 with 7 minutes and 57 seconds. And that is a challenge because, as the New York Times called him, and we talked about this on the couch yesterday, a happy warrior. Can you do both? Can you be passionate for the country? Can you, and we saw a little bit of that more on the Faulkner Focus today, and I asked him about it. What are you going to tweak? I mean, if you're not going to be in the fray, then you got to bring your own fray. Like, you've got to do something to kind of get out there. Asa Hutchinson was another we didn't really hear from. Doug Burgum, a lot on education. So, but you had that center 4 or 5, and maybe that's why they're also owning those top behind Donald Trump by many points, percentage points in the polling. It's because of who they are in those confrontational moments.
And there is the argument, if you survive to the next round, if you did come off optimistic or likable or presidential and you survive to the next round, you will get more time as the field winnows. So you will get in those phrases even if you don't want to. But I had our team put together a montage of Governor Ron DeSantis. There are some interesting things I picked up on. Let's take a listen.
We will send Joe Biden back to his basement, and we will reverse the decline of this country. I will never let the deep state bureaucrats lock you down. You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him. You bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired. The most impactful moments of my life was when I heard the heartbeat of my oldest daughter in my wife's womb, and then saw the sonograms of all 3 of my kids. I know a lady in Florida named Penny. She survived multiple abortion attempts. She was left discarded in a pan. Fortunately, her grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital. We're better than what the Democrats are selling. I've met angel moms throughout this country. I met a lady in Texas named Tracy, and her son took one Percocet that was laced with fentanyl, immediately died. That is happening all across this country because of the poison that they are bringing in.
You know, Emily, the America's Newsroom voter panel this morning was really interesting. A lot of people said Governor DeSantis won the debate. That was their takeaway. One that stood out to me was the 22-year-old undecided voter. And she said, to quote her, after the debate, she said, the work was done for Ron DeSantis before he walked into the debate, making a comment on his conservative record, his steadiness in delivering his points. Right out of the gate, within 15 seconds, he mentioned Joe Biden. He landed punch after punch against Joe Biden. So while these frays were going on, he's landing punches against the left. He'll get in frays at some point, certainly, if he continues to be number 2 in the polls, but also the more personal touch we saw from him.
That's right. And I found him surgical, so effective in that way, Kayleigh, that yes, the work had been done for him, but it was, or it had been done before the debate, but it was up to him to draw from it, to cite it. And he did so in such a personalized manner. I do feel, to touch on the discussion of the phrase that we were just having a moment ago, you know, it seemed as if moderators sort of had to evolve into, frankly, yard duty officials and referees. And that's not a good look, frankly, for a future president. It sort of generates a short-term, you know, media and energy clicks and bursts, but a long-term catty infighting doesn't bode well. And I thought DeSantis's sort of measured approach to that and taking a step back really did bode well. I'll say that he is the only candidate who mentioned voters by name. It's my understanding. And he did so twice, to your point, the one that was in that montage. And he personalized not only himself, but the issues. It was tremendously effective when, in the conversation about abortion, for him to mention how the most wonderful thing he's ever heard was his eldest daughter's heartbeat, and to really draw on that, to draw on the voters' experiences personally, which means that every one of those 50 million Americans plus who are watching felt a personal connection, and that if they were to say something to him, that he would remember them, that there would be an impact, and that it wasn't just statistics. So yes, I thought he was tremendously effective in that way.
And I think, you know, Shannon, his answer on abortion, and certainly Pence and Scott's, may sit better with, let's say, some Iowa primary voters. Someone who stood out, though her abortion answer I'd put in a separate bin, is Nikki Haley. She exceeded expectations. I'll tell you, just from having a 3-year-old, I was telling her about the debate dynamics, and she looked at me and goes, Mommy, I want the girl to win. And it was refreshing to see a strong woman on that stage who knew foreign policy. She did very well, and particularly to have a woman stand up for women and not having biological men in women's sports. Let's take a listen to Ambassador Haley.
I will always say I'm going to fight for girls all day long, because strong girls become strong women become strong leaders, and biological boys don't belong in the locker rooms of any of our girls.
Your thoughts, Shannon?
Yeah, those lines are ones that she's used on the campaign trail effectively. It generates applause from people who share that belief with her, and she is, as the only female on that stage, able to invoke those sayings about strong girls and strong women. I thought she probably had the best take against Vivek, who took a ton of incoming last night and was able to brush back most of it very easily. But when she said to him, it was a good moment for her to remind us, she was the ambassador to the UN and has dealt with some very treacherous enemies, to say to him, you have no foreign policy experience, and it shows. She's probably the only one who got a real shot at him that had any staying power. But she also has to be careful, because she doesn't want this to be about identity politics. And she says that, I don't want this to be about me being a woman. I want it to be that I'm the best candidate here. So she has a lot on her resume to talk about with regard to foreign policy. But on the abortion issue, she's trying to be realistic with voters. If you don't have the votes in the Senate or the House, you can't tell people you're going to work towards a federal ban. But it also gives her an out, not saying that she would commit to a federal ban. So it gives her a chance to talk in different ways about the abortion issue, but she's also talking about, let's be compassionate. We don't want to throw women in jail. And she's trying to appeal to a broader base that she says in the general election is going to be important on this issue for the GOP.
Yeah, and Jason, I want to get your thoughts on the debate, but I also want to point out, you know, President Trump still far and away the front runner. Emerson has him at 56% over Governor DeSantis at 10%. At the same time, that New York Times Siena poll says you've got 3 buckets: the 37% who are MAGA, they are voting Trump no matter what; the 37% who say we're leaning towards Trump but we're persuadable; and the 25% who say nope, we're not voting for Trump, meaning there's a universe of persuadables, but President Trump's still the front runner.
He is. And after this debate, Donald Trump is still way out in front. But I like steady. I like principled. And that's why I really liked what Governor Ron DeSantis had to say and how he said it. Not only was he personal, but he also talked about, and I love the fact that he's the only person on that stage that has military experience. And so when he talked about foreign policy, he talked about China, when he talked about the border, he's doing so with personal experience, having served in the United States military. I also thought Senator Tim Scott was very strong. You're right, he didn't get the most amount of time, but conventional wisdom going into this debate was that they were all going to go after Ron DeSantis. He was going to take all this incoming, but they really didn't. And that was in part because I think Vivek Ramaswamy came out swinging and I think was a little offensive to go out and say, oh, all of you are bought and paid for. That doesn't score you any points. He's a great messenger. He's a big part of this debate moving forward, and he's got a great voice. But some of what he said and how he said it, I don't think wins people over.
Yeah, I mean, ask Disney if they think Governor DeSantis is bought and paid for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.